Good afternoon, one and all present here. May I take this opportunity to welcome all of you and wish you an academic fest and enriching learning experience over these 2 days at our own RoboGynae 2023, which has been organized by the Association of Gynae Robotic Surgeons of India. Can we please have the video played? Thank you.
Amid the COVID era, a visionary idea took root to set up an exclusive association for and by gynecologists interested in robotic surgery. In December 2021, I conceived a concrete idea of forming this association, which eventually transformed into a reality. AGRS sprang into life with a formidable team of 7 esteemed gynecologists. Myself as the president, Dr. Rama Joshi, Yogesh Kulkarni, Anupma Rajan Babu, Mala Srivastav, Anshumala Shukla Kulkarni, and Dr. Anupma Bahadur. 25th May, we registered our body formally at Telangana, Hyderabad, which was followed by RoboGynae India, the inaugural meeting of AGRS in August 2022. Very well received for being a niche conference. We had distinguished international faculty, Dr. Edwin Kula, Dr. Gottlieb, Dr. Moad, Dr. Krishanshu Tiwari, and Dr. Mahind Bhandari from Verticutive Foundation, who are our academic partners. AGRS secured affiliations with SURG, the European Robotic Surgery, and Asian Society of Gynecological Robotic Surgeons. I welcome you all to join this movement of AGRS, which will take you to the future of surgical innovation.
I think that deserves a round of applause. It has indeed been a very interesting journey, and I would say that it's a welcome gift to encourage others to achieve greatness. Through this platform, we've always endeavored to encourage more and more gynecologists to adopt this innovative technology to improve their patient outcomes and surgical profiles. I would now like to invite our dignitaries over to the podium. So let's start with our guest of honor, Mr. Jayesh Ranjan. Please come. Our President AGRS, Dr. Ruma Sinha. The Treasurer AGRS, Dr. Yogesh Kulkarni. And Vice President AGRS, Dr. Rama Joshi. We are awaiting the arrival of our chief guest. An introduction of our guest of honor, Mr. Jayesh Ranjan is an IAS officer. He's a Principal Secretary to the Government of Telangana, Industries and Commerce, INC Department, and Infotech, Electronics and Communication Department, Government of Telangana. As we start any ceremony in India, we always start it with an invocation to the Almighty so that we have a good beginning. So I would like to invite our dignitaries here to please go ahead and light the lamp. As we offer our prayers to Ma Saraswati by lighting the lamp, we would like to thank the Goddess of Knowledge for blessing us with all the knowledge and wisdom that we have today. Vandana means praising or surrender, And so Ganesh Vandana means praising Lord Ganesha. He is our Vignaharta, Sukhakarta, Dukhaharta, and we really pray to him to make this event successful.
वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा.
Thank you. Thank you. Now I would like to call upon the President of AGRS, Dr. Ruma Sinha. Give her a big hand, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, because she's the brain behind the society and this conference, a robotic surgeon who needs no introduction. Everyone's favorite and the most dynamic and versatile, Dr. Ruma Sinha.
Good afternoon, everybody. Dignity on the dais, Mr. Jayesh Ranjan, Principal Secretary of the Information Technology at Government of Telangana. And for our international guests, make me understand that this is the local state government that we are talking about. We have a federal system of government in India. Mr. Ranjan, with his visionary idea and effort, has been instrumental in the state of Telangana to bring all these newer technologies, may it be AI, blockchain, virtual reality, cybersecurity, and including, I have been a part of it, and thank you for inviting me for that, Mr. Ranjan, is to form a robotics framework for this state, which includes not just the surgical robot, but robotics in every field. And the state is also very, very instrumental in providing support to the startup companies. And welcome all the faculty and delegates for taking your time out to be with us this weekend. And hopefully you're enjoying the session since morning. There are many more to come. As medical professionals, we are dedicated in providing highest quality of service and support to our women of our country. And it's crucial for us to remain updated with the new technologies, make that little effort, time to get in tune with what's happening around us. We tend to become creatures of habit sometime and then just go on with what we are doing and think that's what we have. But the stage or the scene of gynecology surgery has a paradigm shift in having to adopt robotic surgery. Today it's not just as the surgeons that we are wanting to learn, but the patients who are wanting to have such surgery also, because this technology has brought those difficult surgeries which was not possible by laparoscopy to be performed in a minimal access way by using robotic technology. So what does that translate to the bottom line? It translates that women in this country, maybe they're suffering from cancerous or non-cancerous gynecological diseases, if they need surgery, should be offered minimal access surgery. And that's the bottom line that we as gynecologists must be able to provide. Coming to the role of AGRS, we just showed you a small video of how we thought and what we are trying to do. But the focus and the main vision here is to what we also spoke when we were talking about that robotic Telangana framework is responsible deployment of technology. I think as surgeons and as medical professionals, we must understand that when we talk about responsible deployment of technology, we must make sure that person is going to deploy this technology to the women in the country is properly trained, has been mentored well, understands that robot is just a tool. It doesn't make you a good surgeon. So you need to have your basics, but you need to learn this technology. And that's where the role of AGRS is there. Some of us, you must have seen the 7 founding members, are all very experienced robotic surgeons in this country. Reach out to any one of us. We will be very happy to mentor you on an individual basis. But what as an association we are trying to do is we have now tied up with our European colleagues, that is the Society of European Robotic Gynecological Surgeons, and we are trying to now do a kind of Indo-European training program which are 3-level and ultimately will actually end up you having a diploma and make this so rigorous, without any bias and make sure that it's objectively assessed, that at the end of it, we have really helped you train to use this technology safely for the women of this country. So that's the number one priority and vision. Of course, this will be supplemented by meetings like this, live workshops, seminars, any proctorship that you want. Anybody, you can call up anybody in the middle of the day and ask, this is my problem, what can we do? We are always there for anybody who's been attending this. I would also like today to congratulate all those people who presented and sent their best work for this meeting. We appreciate each and every entry that came. However, would like to specially congratulate the winners of the AGRS Verticuity Scholar. That means the videos that won the prize. Interestingly, we had so many videos and so many good work that came that although the number of prizes were 5, we have now extended it to 7. We could not just leave the 2 out. We also came this year, last year we didn't, we had this last year, but this year we actually added AGRS Champion, where people not presenting videos but sending their good work or best work that they have, got a prize for AGRS Champion for their best award-winning paper. So with RoboGyn India, we continue to uphold our commitment for excellence in patient care, and it's important for all of us to explore the potential of this robotic surgery. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for showing the dedication that you have towards this new technology. Feel free to interact as much as possible on and off these sessions, and I welcome you all for taking your time out to be with us in Hyderabad today. Namaste.
I would now like, thank you, Dr. Ruma. I would now like to request our guest of honor to please give us a few words. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Sinha, Dr. Joshi, Dr. Kulkarni, all the invitees, delegates, international delegates. Let me also welcome all of you on behalf of Telangana government. As I was introduced, I work for the government here and look after the important sector of technology. And I'll share in a while what exactly is our interest in promoting this particular branch of technology. But before that, let me congratulate Dr. Sinha for taking this initiative to form this association, to have a plan of how do you really create an impact in this particular domain, to bring all of you through these kind of conferences, to have a very clear roadmap about capacity building, about international partnerships, etc. So congratulations to you in particular and all your esteemed colleagues. Some of you may not be aware, possibly those who either don't live in Hyderabad or don't live in India, that Telangana is the youngest state in our country. It was formed in 2014. And after the state was created, one of the... Okay, I welcome Dr. Sangeeta Reddy to the stage.
Welcome, Ms. Sangeeta Reddy.
Sure. So I was telling you about what has prompted Telangana to look at technologies, look at advancements in technology. So when Telangana became a new state 9 years ago, there was a strong reason why there was a demand for this new state. One of the main reasons was that over the previous 50 years, when this region was part of the combined state of Andhra Pradesh, there was a sense that all the opportunities are going the other way, nothing is happening here, and therefore we should take more control about our opportunities, our livelihoods, our programs. And when this became a reality in 2014, one of the questions was that how do you really catch up with the lost time, all these decades when you have been kind of left out? What can we now do to advance our development? And expert after expert told us that Telangana should become a technology-enabled state. Technology can help you fast track, leapfrog, pole vault your developmental agenda. So 9 years ago, we decided that wherever new technologies are advancing, whatever are the opportunities for the country, for the state, we should try to grab that and run it in a very systematic way. So I'm happy to share with you that over the last 9 years, as a government, we have focused on some of the most cutting edge technologies, and the latest technology that we have started focusing on is robotics. As Dr. Sinha pointed out earlier in the year, I think it was in February, that we launched our robotics policy, becoming the first state in the country to have a state-specific robotics policy. And we have decided when we launched the policy that at least initially for the coming few years, we will focus on 4 verticals. One is, of course, healthcare. The second one is agriculture. The third one is industrial automation. And the fourth is consumer robotics. So healthcare, as I mentioned, is one of the prime focus for the government in promoting robotics technology. The framework that we launched in February is rested on 5 pillars. The first pillar is on how do you encourage more and more private companies to design their hardware, to develop their software, robotic software that is, robotics hardware and robotic software in our state. First of all, if they are an international player, can they look at the value proposition of India, and within India, what can it take for them to select Hyderabad and Telangana for do that development? And again, I'm happy to share with you that some very encouraging initial results are there. I don't want to name names, but we are in advanced talks with some very premier companies who manufacture robots, who deploy robots, and they have decided to, they're contemplating setting up their facilities in Hyderabad in India. So that is the first pillar. The second pillar is, of course, to promote innovation, to promote research. We know that this is an area where lots of advancement of knowledge is still happening. It is still underway. Lots of innovation is happening. I'm again happy to share with you that one of the first startup which focused on robotic surgery actually is from Hyderabad, a company called SciChip. I'm not sure if they have been called or they are here or not, but we have that distinction of a rich legacy of startups who are working on this area. And we want to do that further. We want to set up a robotics accelerator which promotes startup activities, which promotes acceleration. And we have our own, in fact, the country's largest prototyping facility called the T-Works, in which we want to provide space for this robotics accelerator also. The third very important thing is that how do you create a pool of talented manpower? We know that robotics is an area in all these 4 verticals that I spoke about: healthcare, agriculture, industrial automation, consumer robotics. Lots of activities are going to happen down the line. And tomorrow, the level of robotics usage which we see, let us say in China or West, India can potentially catch up. But there's only one question mark. Do you have enough number of talented people who understand this hardware, the software, etc.? So we have now started running courses in our colleges. We have an institution called the Telangana Academy for Skills and Knowledge, and through TASK, we have identified a few agencies who have programs in robotics, and we are trying to introduce those programs in our colleges. And our target is that in another maybe 2 years or so, there must be at least a pool of 10,000 students who have done some kind of basic or advanced course in robotics. The fourth very important pillar of our policy is deployment of robotics in the government itself. It's very easy to preach to others that you do this, don't miss the bus, technology is there, everyone is using, you also use it. But is the government itself using? This is something very unique about Telangana, that whatever new technology that we advocate, the first use cases always come from the government itself. So we are looking at all these 4 verticals that I spoke about: agriculture, healthcare, industrial automation, and consumer robotics. And we are identifying government agencies where these applications can be institutionalized. And regarding healthcare, I'm very happy to share with you, those who don't live in Hyderabad will not be aware of this healthcare facility. But the most premier government healthcare facility in Hyderabad is called NIMS, NIMS, the Nizam's Institute of Medical Sciences. And again, I'm very happy to share with you that just about, it happened just a few weeks ago, Nizam's has procured state-of-the-art the Da Vinci Xi 4th version robo and has set up a fully equipped robotic surgery lab. And it has invested about close to 350 million Indian rupees, $4 million, to set up that facility. Even in and what the NIMS director was telling me the other day, that hardly anyone in India today has the 4th generation Xi, which they have been able to procure. And they want to do more and more. So, as I said, this is a very important part of our policy, that the government leads by example. And in other verticals also, something similar is happening. And the fifth vertical, the fifth pillar rather, of our policy is again something which Dr. Sinha alluded to, which is about the responsible deployment of technology. We know that patient care requires lots of sensitivity. We also need to ensure that liabilities, etc., are minimized. And therefore, the kind of training that is required, the kind of standards that are required, all of you are healthcare professionals, you will be aware about the accreditation norms, global norms, national norms, and how much of precision is that needs to be followed to achieve those norms. We want to set similar standards for robotic surgeons. We also want to prescribe minimum number of hours, like an airline pilot. Unless you fly for X number of hours, you don't get your license. So these kind of things we are discussing internally, and we'll be happy to engage with AGRS to understand what kind of global standards are practiced, because as Dr. Sinha mentioned, you're looking at European partnerships. So we would like to understand what are the good practices which are followed elsewhere rather than reinventing the wheel. But responsible robotics is again something which is very fundamental in our policy. So these are the 5 pillars of our policy. To reiterate, encourage the private sector to do all their hardware and software manufacturing, development, R&D in Hyderabad, to encourage innovation and research, to promote courses in our colleges so that talent pool is available, a pipeline of talent is created, to be the first in the government itself to adopt, to deploy, to bring use cases, and finally the responsible deployment of robots. We are always aware that healthcare is one area where an amazing array of technologies can be demonstrated. In fact, some of you again may not be aware, but when COVID happened and when I saw Sangeeta Garu, this recollection came to my mind. We became the first state, the first government, the first ever instance anywhere in the country where drones were utilized to deliver medicines and blood samples and vaccines to a remote location. So it was a collaborative effort between Apollo Hospital, World Economic Forum, and Telangana government. This project was called Medicine from the Sky. So, normally when we talk about drones, right now the typical drone application is within what is called the line of sight. Like it starts from Sheraton and maybe 500 meters down the line, it is kind of delivered. But the deployment that we showcased, and I remember the Union Civil Aviation Minister had come to witness this, we were able to fly that drone carrying a payload of medicines, vaccines, blood, etc. to almost 50 kilometers. And it was successfully done. And now I was told that many northeast states are doing it regularly. So again, as I said, healthcare is one area where amazing amount of tech applications are possible. And again, I'm very proud to share this with you, that Hyderabad has become that hub where all this is happening at an amazing pace, because this is a city where my minister keeps mentioning this, that Hyderabad has that uniqueness where biology meets technology, where life sciences meets data sciences, because we are the life sciences and healthcare capital of the country. In some aspects, we are the healthcare capital of the world also, particularly in vaccine production. Some of you, again, may not know this, but 1/3 of world's vaccines are made in Hyderabad. We manufacture 9 billion doses of vaccines every year, of the 27 billion. And in another 2 years, this 9 billion of Hyderabad will become 14 billion, because all the players are ramping up big time. So of the global share, of which we have 33% now, our share will go further. So healthcare, life sciences is very strong here. We are also a very important tech hub. I mean, it's a nice coincidence that this conference is happening in this hotel. If you look around, I mean, we are surrounded by tech giants. There are close to 900,000 people who work in tech sector, and some of the who's who, some of the most marquee tech companies of the world are present here, and they are not present in some notional way. In fact, if you look at which are the biggest tech companies in the world today, if you just search through any search engine, some names will come. These are the most commonly known names like Apple and Google, Microsoft and Amazon and Facebook. You will discover that each of these, all 5 of these, have their largest presence outside their own headquarters. Their headquarters, coincidentally, is in the US, but outside their headquarters, anywhere else in the world, their second biggest presence is in Hyderabad. And each of them is doing cutting edge work. You will be, again, pleasantly surprised to know that most of the Alexa programming, development of algorithm is done from Amazon's Hyderabad office. All the Microsoft, earlier Windows 8 and all, they used to be developed from the Microsoft Hyderabad office. Now they are focused to cloud. Each of these companies does cutting edge work here. So amazing kind of prowess in technology. And if you match biology, if you match life sciences with that, this is the place where all this action is happening. And I would urge upon ARGS also, you will be well, AGRS rather, you will be well networked in the robotic surgery community. Give us leads, give us connects with companies. We know that right now, apart from Da Vinci, there is an Indian manufacturing also called Mantra, which is believed to be more cost effective, though I don't know how many people use it. Even NIMS chose to go with Da Vinci, and I was asking Dr. Joshi earlier, in her hospital also, they use XI. But I'm sure there are some users of other products as well, so other platforms as well. So let us try to bring as many of them as possible to Hyderabad, create a rich ecosystem. And since you are here, the headquarters of AGRS is here, we can play that role of developing something very unique for India and disseminating it throughout the country and throughout the world as well. So wishing you all the best, and hope to remain connected with all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Jayesh Ranjan, for that insight. Indeed, just like any other skill-based procedure that is done, such as flying, even surgical, whether it's robotic, should have a checklist, and it should be followed religiously before you do the surgery. I'd like to invite Dr. Ruma Sinha to introduce our chief guest.
Thank you for all of you for being here, and let me introduce Dr. Mrs. Sangeeta Reddy. She's the Joint Managing Director of Apollo Hospital Groups of India, and it's a big chain for people coming from abroad. She's also the chair for the G20 Empower, and I think over the last 1 year, with this G20 happening in India, ma'am has played a very, very significant role in the empowerment of women and the women-related issues. So I think it's apt for ma'am to be here today. As I'm introducing ma'am, I will fail my duty to actually mention our chairman, sir, Dr. Pratap C. Reddy, who is a visionary. And I think his vision brought the robot to India. When the initial robot came to India in 2012 or 2011, he immediately deployed it in 4 hospitals across the country. And I'm standing here today because I was just at the right time, right place. I was just at the institute where it was installed, and I had an opportunity to work. So with these words, I'll now invite Dr. Sangeeta Reddy to give us her address, please. Thank you.
Give me a thing when 10 minutes are over. Good morning, everybody. Let me begin by saying what a pleasure it is to be here. Because I remember the day when our chairman told us that we are going to buy 5 robots. And I remember the look on our finance team's face. It's like, oh my God, sir. And I also remember the look on some of the medical directors' face, saying, this cannot happen. What is chairman saying? But he had seen and analyzed that the power of what was happening with robotic surgery, and I think now we started in 2011, 2012, 2011. So from that time, we've done over 12,000 robotic surgeries, and I'm especially happy to say that Dr. Uma Sinha alone has done 700 out of those 12,000. So very proud of you, Dr. Uma. It is also most appropriate that you've created a special society for this, because the use of robotics in gynecological surgery, whether you're doing all the minimally invasive procedures, so you were earlier using laparoscope and the movement from the pure laparoscopic to robotic surgery, whether it's in a fibroid removal or a hysterectomy or a myomectomy, your enhanced access, less bleeding, greater results, finer accuracy and precision, all these have become clearly established. But I think, all the science and the thing we read about the men behind the machines or the women behind the machines, this is one of the most important examples of how the machine is useless without the individual. And therefore, the power of your coming together for training programs like this, for updations, for panel discussions, and everything that your simulated work, everything that you're going to be doing over the next 2 days, and also the continuous dialogue because you've created this society. So I do want to specially, acknowledge and appreciate everyone who's come together to create this society. Of course, Dr. Uma Sinha, but Dr. Rama Joshi, Dr. Yogesh Kulkarni, Dr. Anshu Mala Kulkarni, all of you, congratulations, because you are holding together an important science and evolving it to the next level. It is also my pleasure to acknowledge the presence of our international faculty. I say this often, but I really believe it's very true and worth repeating, that one of the powers of the medical profession is the fact that you continue to share knowledge. When an industry, any industry finds something new, the first thing that they do is they hide it, they patent it, they protect it, and they say this is our wealth. When a doctor finds something new, the beauty is he writes a paper, he talks about it at a conference, and he wants thousands of people to learn, other doctors to learn, so that the knowledge is shared. This is one of the most powerful aspects of the medical profession, and I congratulate you for it, and I think no other profession has this capability, and therefore it is said very much in our Indian mythology and our Indian scriptures that the closest to God is the doctor. And I think it's things like this which make all of you a very special profession. I'm very happy that my youngest son has just graduated from medicine. So finally we have someone carrying on that torch from my father. But beyond that, let me move on to say that today in our midst we also have someone very special, and that is Mr. Jayesh Ranjan. He has, over the last 9 years, guided this state with his vision, his knowledge, his quiet push, his perception about the power of technology and people. And the minister has, of course, supported him, Mr. K.T. Ramarao. But the power of this continuously pushing entrepreneurship, youth, startups, technology in every way, and large technology companies coming to Hyderabad are really solely to his credit. And I would use this opportunity for all of us to really recognize Mr. Jayesh Ranjan. And he reveres science. BioAsia has become a landmark conference. He reveres knowledge. He continues to reach out and seek and push innovation. And he shared with you what we did with the drones. There are 2 other fantastic projects happening in Telangana. Number 1 is that our highways are connected with ambulances which are connected to a central command station. So even if you're 20, 40 kilometers out, your treatment begins in the ambulance because you're connected. This is a Government of India Apollo partnership. Now other hospitals have joined in. The other one is one of the other technologies that I believe very strongly in is the power of remote care. And in the remote care realm, in that same institution, Nizam's, the government institution, and Ms. Ranjan, I'm happy to say that we have the same robot. Ruma's been using it for a while, and we have a few others in other locations, and it's a powerful robot. We also are test piloting the Indian-made robot in one of our hospitals. But moving on to this aspect of remote care. Many years ago, I believe all of you are aware that a laparoscopic surgery was done by a surgeon in New York on a patient in Europe. This ability of connecting the machines and concentrating the skills was first extremely powerful in the thought process of how do we reach our villages. So we started our program on telemedicine in the year 2000 when we connected my father's small village where we have a 100-bed hospital. We connected that with our large hospitals in Hyderabad and Chennai. And when President Bill Clinton visited Hyderabad, he viewed a doctor doing an echocardiogram on a patient. But this was interpreted by the cardiologist in Hyderabad, who diagnosed the hole in the heart and said, please send this child for surgery. And also went on to say that send the child soon, and after surgery, she will lead a normal life. You all know what would have happened if that child had not been diagnosed, had grown up to be 10 or 12 and become inoperable, or really led a very compromised life. So the stories of this, telementored surgery, appropriate diagnosis, moving of care, connectivity and remote care, all these are becoming commonplace. But more important than commonplace, it is making everyday miracles happen in the healthcare sector. We have a shortage of critical care specialists, but we can mentor an ICU in a remote area and ensure that they're getting the best care. We can put in the machines of the technology of the CT scan, etc., but unless you're interpreting them, so teleradiology, telepathology, tele-ICU, tele-emergency, all these are powerfully transforming the way care is delivered across across Apollo, but across India, across the world. And from this, I want to, really end by sharing a thought. I don't want to take too much time. I know you have multiple clinical discussions. But there is a very, very important ideology which came forth during G20. And our Prime Minister gave the world this thought that we are actually, at the end of the day, we belong to one Earth. Till we can populate Mars and Elon Musk does what he says he's going to do, we are one Earth. And in that one Earth, despite the divisions of country, of religion, of various things, we are one family. And it is in that ideology that we should come together to protect each other and build one future. And build that future which is better than the future that we foresee today. So I think it was important for countries to come together and say, beyond trade. Trade is a very important aspect of countries coming together. But there is a higher level thought and a higher level thinking. And going one step further, during G20 Empower, which is the women's arm of G20, we did find a way to focus on the importance of enhanced participation of women, not only in the formal workforce. And I'm stressing on the word formal because while women's participation in the formal workforce is under 30%, they actually do 2.5 times the work in the informal. And the care economy is undervalued, underrepresented, and it is under-innovated. So if we can have a robot to do some work at home for the care economy, Mr. Jayesh Ranjan, we will really, the women of the world will thank you. But beyond the jokes, beyond the story, it is important for the world to recognize and to create an equalization of women. You see here, one woman, Dr. Ruma Sinha, did, and we have some amazing surgeons in urology, in heart using robot, all these. But she stood up there with her own and said, I'm doing equivalent to any one of them. And so I strongly believe that we will build a better world where women participate together. I congratulate all of you first for your dedication to the profession. I request you to retain and maintain the highest standards of care and of ethics, because it is only with the combination of these two that we will maintain what is most valued, what is most important in the healthcare profession, and that is the trust of the patients. End of the day, that is what makes them better. It is your care, your cure, but their mental state that this doctor is going to make me better. So let us protect that precious role that we have. And as we go ahead, I promise you that schemes, the government interventions, global participation, manufacturing in India and abroad will all come together to enable what we all want, which is universal healthcare and universal access to care. And in that, I'm going to take a small aside to tell you that actually the state that you are in, before Telangana and Andhra together, were the first state in the country to create universal health access. We had pioneered it in our village. We brought it here, and the Arogya Bhadrata scheme was the police force which came together. Data from that led to another state doing a milk cooperative. But finally, the Andhra and Telangana state together were the ones who said the whole state must have health care, and we had universal health insurance first here, and now it's spread to the whole country. So as I say, a combination of science and innovation, whether it's in AI, and there's a lot to talk about the role of AI and what we are going to do through generative learning, the role of robotics, augmented reality, various aspects of 3D printing, biosciences and stem cell, and the entire realm of what we can do in terms of new molecules and cure. So the combination of the system which enables access, the clinicians and all of you who continue to stay abreast, the science which comes on top of it, and a population that realizes that they must come in early for care and cure and be a partner in the relationship of a population staying healthy. All these are what we visualize unfolding in the future, and you play a very critical role. I once again acknowledge and appreciate every single one of you for the tremendous work you've done in your careers, because that's why you're here. You're outstanding. You've been chosen to be the robotic specialist in your particular hospital, and therefore you are the top notch in that area. So congratulations for what you've achieved. Thank you for your contribution to humanity and for your continuous sharing of knowledge, and all the very best in everything that you wish to do for yourselves and for the world. Thank you and namaste.
Thank you, Mrs. Reddy, for that encouragement that you've given all of us here. Moving on to the next agenda, the more that you learn, the more places you will go. Those people who develop the ability to continuously acquire new and better forms of knowledge that can apply to their work and to their lives will be the movers and shakers in our society for the indefinite future. Keeping this thought in mind, we've decided as AGRS to release a newsletter which is going to be circulated to give us what is the latest and the top-notch in the robotic industry field. I'd like to request ma'am to please inaugurate it. Bring it around. So the idea has been docked that we are going to be updating all of you, and we'll be circulating this amongst our members, and the name came out as being docked because I think, yes, the idea has to get docked in our head that we have to do more and more robotic surgery safely and well, right? Okay, moving on to the next. I would like to now, of course, thank our foreign faculty for coming here and sharing their knowledge and felicitate them, as we call them, on the stage. I'd like to invite Dr. Arnold Advenkula. Please come. We all know him well. He's a very popular robotic surgeon across the world. Across the world and in India. And we're really very thankful for him to come and share with us his knowledge on robotic surgery. Next, we have Dr. Joseph Ang from Singapore, NUHS. Please welcome. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Joseph. Next, we have Dr. Park from Korea. Thank you. Dr. Tony from the United Kingdom. Welcome. Thank you very much. We're really, really grateful for all of you to take your time out to travel across and give us the pearls of your wisdom and help us to make robotic surgery even better. Progress lies not in enhancing what is, but in advancing what will be. I think our 7 executive members, when we got together to make the AGRS, really believed in that. And as a part of AGRS, we are conferring the diploma program to our EC members. At the first, I would like to, of course, call upon Dr. Ruma Sinha to please receive the diploma. Thank you. The diploma by the AGRS is in association with Society of European Robotic Surgery, and this will be is being given right now to all of our senior members, but we have a training program where you can aspire to get the same. Dr. Rama Joshi, our Vice President. Next is myself, Dr. Anshumala. Dr. Anupma Bahadur. She comes from AIMS Rishikesh, a very energetic, young, dynamic robotic surgeon. Dr. Yogesh Kulkarni, the gynae oncosurgeon from Kokila Ben Dhirubambani Hospital and also the treasurer of AGRS. Dr. Mala Srivastav, Joint Treasurer of AGRS from Delhi. Dr. Anupma Rajan Babu, previously at Cochin and now at the United Kingdom. Dr. Rohit Ranade from Narayana Hridyalaya, Bangalore. Dr. Swapna Mishra from from Fortis Mohali, a very young, dynamic robotic surgeon. Dr. Arunava Roy, representing the east of India, from Kolkata. Dr. Anjum Mariam from Mangalore. We started the concept of AGRS in the COVID times, and I think that is when we were all getting used to having online conferences and online meetings. And as you can see, the members that started it off are from the north, south, east, and west of India. And I think if it was not for COVID and the whole acceptance of actually having a meeting on an online platform, it would have been very difficult to actually go ahead and create this meeting that we did. And it's been a good journey, learning technology in this manner as well. I think we have to owe COVID for that. I would now request Dr. Ruma Sinha to please felicitate the guest of honor. Rama Joshi to please felicitate our chief guest. It was indeed a pleasure and an honor to have all of you on the stage with us. And as we say, the secret of making progress is to get started. So I think I would like to thank all of you for being here. Thank our chief guest, Mrs. Reddy, our guest of honor, our dignitaries on the stage, Dr. Yogesh Kulkarni, Dr. Ruma Sinha, Dr. Rama Joshi, all of you here for having joined us in the inauguration ceremony. And I think it's now time to get started as soon as we can for our next scientific session. Thank you very much. Can we please request all of us to stand up for the national anthem? Yeah.